Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of Senate Bill 1. Mr. Speaker, I have a message to all the current workers that contribute into our PSERS and SERS system here in Pennsylvania. If you have a pension plan, you can keep your pension plan. And unlike other leaders regarding different issues in Washington, we are actually telling the truth on this issue. Mr. Speaker, can we all agree we have a pension problem in this state? We have an over $60 billion unfunded liability. If we do not act, the state will no longer be able to pay the people who have put their hard-earned dollars into the pension system. Mr. Speaker, I know we can go through the merry-go-round and point fingers of how we got here. But I came here to solve problems. I didn't come here to point fingers. In fact, when some of the worst decisions were made regarding this system, I actually was a freshman in high school. This is a good piece of legislation. In fact, the fiscal note that just came off the press has stated it will save taxpayers over $10 billion. Let me repeat, $10 billion. Mr. Speaker, 90% of the private sector is currently in a defined contribution 401k type system. The system that SB 1 would implement is not even a full defined contribution system. It's a hybrid defined contribution cash balance system that many, many people in the private sector would love to have. Mr. Speaker, I'm also happy to report that the men and women that keep us safe, including state police, FOP, and correction officers, are exempted. They put their lives on the line for us and don't get Social Security. And it's the right thing to do to exempt them. Now, Mr. Speaker, I must admit I do not take a pension. But I have to commend the authors of this legislation for forcing all legislators into the new plan. That is what I call leading by example. Our plan is also fiscally responsible. We are contributing more than $2.5 billion into the system than when Ed Rendell was governor. This plan also protects benefits and meets our obligations. Most importantly, it reduces our unfunded liability by $10 billion. Finally, it safeguards our credit rating, which has been affected in recent years by the pension crisis. Mr. Speaker, I constantly hear from the other side of the aisle how this won't solve our budget problems. Well, let me tell you something. In your life, if you had the opportunity to pay down the principal on your mortgage, would you do it? I know I would. Mr. Speaker, this is a great bill. It reduces taxpayers' liability by $10 billion, safeguards our credit rating, meets our obligations, and protects our state workers to make sure their hard-earned money is there when they retire. Mr. Speaker, I urge my colleagues to vote yes on SB 1. Thank you.